GM, GM, GM to the beautiful people of the ENS community. GM to the beautiful people of the Web3 community. This is Monday morning. On top of the morning, this is going to be a phenomenal show. This is going to be a phenomenal week for all of us. I'm speaking that into existence, right? So I woke up, late last night before I went to bed. There was some interesting news about Coinbase, and it seems to have caused a lot of discussion within the community. So I want that to be a focus on today's conversation. What is Coinbase thinking? Why would they take this approach? What is their logic behind it? And how does this ultimately affect all of us, right? I think that's what we care about the most. So in other life updates, I just moved to my new high-rise spot. So I'm hosting this space live in my living room in my new apartment. So I'm very happy about that. It was a very busy weekend for me as I was, moving furniture back and forth, getting some home things to make me feel more at home here. So I'm feeling good. Hopefully you guys are feeling just as good as me. But with that being said, I'm going to pass the stage over to RN1. The stage is yours, man.
Yeah, GM Kev, GM to everybody. Yeah, looking forward to the discussion about the Coinbase situation. You know, they seem to make a lot of wrong moves these days, which is interesting for such a big company. Sometimes that's the problem. You get a big company and they just can't execute. Contrast that with what ENS Vision did part-time while all the guys were working, over the last 3 months. But yeah, looking forward to that discussion. Also, we're getting a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of a short squeeze. I think all based off Flossin's $500 ETH call. The market's rallying, so we'll see. I don't know. So much bad news. I can't believe that super long lived, but still nice to get a little bit of a relief rally. I mean, it can show you how fast things can turn around, especially when it does turn around. As those of you know who have been here, it goes fast and sometimes doesn't come back. I mean, we could go right up to all-time high in no time at all. But another thing, there was a really good space over the weekend. A lot of them I listen into, and I like to see all the spaces. I think it's super helpful. A lot of people get on and asking questions. Also, this was Whale Shark, who, interesting enough, pretty big player in the NFT space, who I'd never heard of before. He was on there with Hydrate, who we've seen on our show a time or two. They had a good space, and there was like 400 people at any given time. It was like 1,600 people total. But the thing is, what I noticed is, we have such a strong community. You always hear Kev saying, hey, we got the biggest community. And we really do, and we're active. And we can't all be devs or all be building new projects, but all of us in there supporting, you get a new influencer, and they see that kind of support from the community, and I promise you they'll come back and talk more about it, get that positive reaction. So I think we all play a part, whatever that is. If you own one domain and you're doing spaces and you're telling your friends about it, I mean, it's all important. And the power of this community, I think, over time is gonna make the difference. And other than that, we just keep grinding every day and waiting it out, doing what we can to help it. And I'm looking forward to the discussion today.
Nice. We'll keep it moving along. Master, good morning, man. Good evening to you.
Hey, good morning, guys. I think you guys all saw the Coinbase, some of the news, but actually it's not a news, which is published on their website for quite a while. I would say at least 1 month, something. I saw it for the first time ever since. So I don't think it's a big deal to me. They want to show that they own the TLD, .id, because they have CB.id, but I'm not sure whether or not, because they already have Coinbase.eth Why not just putting the the username.coinbase.eth directly instead if they want to show that another cb.id? I don't think cb.id looks ever better, although it's short, but it doesn't really reflect the best of Coinbase. I really don't think so. I think Coinbase.id even is better, and Coinbase.eth is even better than the previous tools. But that's the difference, between the big companies and us, and especially they are from Web 2, so they need some time to get used to it. Especially right now, we don't have the name wrapper, which is a matured solution for them to go live that a subdomain plane yet, which means they can realize something by a centralized way via cb.id as of now. But sooner or later, where everyone, our ID is .eth, and I think it's just a matter of time when they all, have that, on board, just like the rest of us. Although, maybe, cb.id can also be managed via an NFT way of, the current studies. But I highly don't think that is kind of, very getting very close to ENS community. But another thing I want to brought up here is that, we witnessed a lot of NFT projects in the past, and that kind of NFT projects, maybe they draw 10,000 of the pictures and they publish it, and then they use some community, the resource from the community to, try to introduce and get the community wider from databases, and there is a team to manage its price to make sure it's always maintained or above at some level. That's how a normal NFT project is maintained. But at the beginning, they need to draw such a picture, or they need to have something to sell. But right now, under ENS, lots of people, I mean, the way they played on some of the collection, for example, 999 maybe makes most of the sense, or the foreign language 999 or 10K Club, or the foreign language a flag plus something. It's more like you don't really have to build anything, and you just need to put in the community and put in the price to maintain that price, and you can do the exact same result of normal NFT community, how they maintain the those JPEGs. That's kind of some of my thoughts. So if you have really recently just been introduced on some of the new collection, just ask yourself whether or not that makes sense to you. If yes, okay, perfect, right? We buy a domain for entertain ourselves, to make ourselves on board to something. So as long as this leads you to opens you a new door to a new wonderland, why not? But if that doesn't make sense for you, you only want to get in simply because you want to make a flip, then I highly recommend you to think twice and think why that is really going to happen, and what is domain used for at first place. So that's all I'm going to share today. Thanks.
Yeah, and before we keep it moving, thank you for sharing that, Master. Two big things here. That, yeah, maybe ID is simpler in Web 2, but the information that confused me here was, one, they said it's high gas fees and it's pretty much expensive for people to get a .eth, which could be debatable. But the second thing they said was, they feel like having a .eth, the normies would probably feel like you could only send Ethereum, you receive and send Ethereum with the .eth that they have. So I thought that was an interesting statement from them as well. Two interesting statements that they put in their little help article. So yeah, with Gary, go ahead, man. I'm keen to hear your thoughts, bro.
Hey, everybody. Sounds like we're talking about Coinbase, the big news for the day, big news for the week. Coinbase, was it Monday? Coming out with a bang today. Let's preface this conversation with the fact that Coinbase, Coinbase.eth, Coinbase, we all know of and love them, even though we can't always depend on them in times of great need. They are a top 10, someone can fact check me, or let us know specifically what number, top 10 ENS delegate. Top 10 ENS delegate. They, if they're smart like me, they probably have, and they're smart like Rainbow Wallet and places like that, or smart like a lot of people, they probably have, and they're like big ENS whales, You wouldn't add to your ENS position in terms of your delegation. You would just be acquiring additional ENS, and then you would just leave your delegation as it is, or just let it naturally float. You wouldn't purchase a whole lot of ENS and then delegate it to yourself. You would just have it like ammo in the reserves, right? But they're a top 10 delegate. Their voting record is 0 for 8, so they're not really participatory. But people, ENS holders, early adopters of ENS have given them a lot of power and a lot of love with that ENS delegation. So that's all, interesting facts that we should highlight. And the good news, I mean, that's all somewhere between, neutral and good news for now. But the further good news is that Coinbase is leveraging ENS protocol. Coinbase is integrating sign-in with Ethereum, I believe, if they're doing ENS, right? And they are integrating ENS blockchain naming profiles. From the screenshot, the follow-up screenshot that I saw from Sean, it looks like you have the option of using the .id, or you have the option of using your native.eth. So it looks like they gave you the option, even though you create the one, but then you get the option. So someone can fact check us on that. Yeah. So with all that being said, the 2 points that I think are interesting, about Coinbase is that I think on one hand, I think Coinbase does have a lot of investors who are invested in quote unquote layer 2s, maybe things like Solana and Polygon and who knows, right? And these layer 2s are essentially trying to be Ethereum killers. They're, we all look at Polygon like a layer 2. It's actually a layer 1 that's just EMV compatible. It's not really a layer 2, even though it operates that way, and it's really cheap, because it has admin keys. So yeah, so they probably have investors that they want to play nice with, but at the same time, I want to give them the credit that they are integrating ENS, right? Even though it's not that they're not using Coinbase.eth, they are integrating ENS, and they are getting people to, they are onboarding all these Web 2 companies saying, oh, I don't need a .eth, right? And as we learn from some of the law rooms, that may or may not be helpful from a trademark perspective, a legal perspective of inclusion, perspective of inclusion. It's very, very good if you're a native.eth holder that we're forward compatible with ICANN. So there's pros and cons, with all that. There's some sensitive politics. They're dealing with like a lot of people, and they are moving in the right direction. In terms of the tweet, that first tweet in here from Soy, I know him as Soy.eth. He'll always be Soy.eth to me if he's in here. But yeah, you guys see, I just pinned my tweet. Yeah, it's like I'm not even sure what the hell they're saying. Like, what's the difference between ENS domain and a Coinbase offering Web3? I mean, what it is that I just want to be clear. When anybody issues a subdomain, there's the layer 1, if you will, for ENS is on Ethereum proper. So what does that mean? That means when you want to mint .eth or Coinbase.eth, you have to do that on Ethereum, right? But when the wrapper comes out, and people that have money can make their own contract, they don't need to wait for the wrapper. And if you sort of have some skill or just a little bit of money, you could wait for the wrapper and you could make it better, or you can use the wrapper. When all this stuff happens, you're going to be able to use any layer 2 for minting subdomains. And so if you want, you can mint your subdomains of any ENS name. You can mint them on Ethereum proper. You can mint them on Polygon, for better or for worse. It's cheaper, a lot cheaper. It's, blockchain. You'll be able to do, I don't actually know like what blockchains actually work. So, but theoretically, if like Cardano works, you'll be able to run it on Cardano or Solana or Pulse Chain when Pulse Chain is released. But at the same time, you can issue subdomains Hey, don't be laughing at my pulse chain. You not only can you use a blockchain solution, but you can use AWS, right? AWS, Amazon. You can mint your subdomains on Amazon Web Services.
Hey, Gary, your connection is kind of going in and out there, brother.
And but I just want to.
Can you guys hear Gary, or is it only me?
Yeah, you can mint subdomain.
I can't.
I can't.
Yo,
yeah, he's in and out.
Yeah, Gary's out of there.
I was giving you too much good info.
Well, yeah, you were definitely dropping some gems, bro. But it was, I guess Twitter didn't want us to hear.
That's all I got to say about that. You can mint a subdomain anywhere. It can be super cheap. They can be free. And I'm pro pulse chain.
Nice, cool. Good
Yeah,
morning.
I made $400,000 on Hex on a $400 investment that would have turned into $8 million had I left it in. So I can't fault you there, Gary. But I'm not going to start wearing lame ass $10,000 tracksuits. I draw the line there from Louis Vuitton.
Nice. Good morning, NFT verse man. The stage is yours. How you doing, bro?
Hey, GM, everybody. GM to the host, Kev, Ron1.eth. I'm going to call it Ron1, RN1.eth, but it's Ron to me. Master, speakers on the panel, Gary, oops dot triple bang, ENSpunks, Web3 intern at 3402, and yoga. Into the community, to everybody who hopped on the space this morning. If you haven't retweeted this space out this morning, please take a second and do that. I think it's important that we continue to stay consistent in getting the word out of this ENS update show hosted by the amazing Kev. It's important, guys, that we get as many people in here as we can with these types of minds and experience and versatility and different perspectives and opinions that we have in here. It's probably, I'll just go on record saying this is probably one of the most versatile spaces, for a morning show, and probably for a Twitter space, period. So definitely retweet that out. I just wanted to touch on the Coinbase thing really quick. One of the things that I saw when Blockworks had sent out the tweet, one of the things that stood out to me was the keywords. Whenever I see media post or different types of things like that, I look into the keywords that they're expressing. And one of the things that they kind of put into their post was that they were using the infrastructure, the ENS infrastructure. Infrastructure stood out to me in that post. It's important, right? The ENS infrastructure is proven, and it continues to develop. And I don't think that they're not so far away that we think, right? By them using the CBI.ID, because it's still on the ENS protocol. It's still in that framework. So by them utilizing that, I don't know if they feel like it's easier or it's shorter. It was a way of getting a shorter domain for the new users, but I for me, I feel like there's a lot more people out there that are tech savvy, that you really didn't have to say that there might not be people, or they might not understand it because they don't understand the ENS system, that using that particular avenue would be easier to onboard. I think that for me, if you have if you have people who are operating in this environment, in crypto in general, and they can go out and create a wallet, they can do transactions, trade crypto, buy crypto, sell crypto, and all of that, and you have 50 million users, ENS is nothing to them to get set up. I just think that that's a simple transaction. It's no different than, to me, creating a user ID and password on anything else that you're utilizing. And I think that as the user interface starts to get a better as we go, people will start, the really new people, right? The new people will start to understand. But the people who are already here, I feel like they can easily grasp what ENS is about, and many have already. I think that, as time goes on, we have to still understand that we're super early, and even what Coinbase is doing, it's a level of adoption that's needed, and that's the most important thing, that what we want to do is get that level of adoption. And the screenshot that Gary was talking about, that Sean had out there, where you had the option to choose which user ID you would like to go by, whether it's the CB.ID or the regular just .eth name. You have an option. Users have an option, and I think that when users understand that they have an option to select, on the Coinbase platform, what they choose to, their followers or whomever to see what they go by. I think that that'll open up their minds a little bit more to ENS too, so that they can go and secure that clean, well, what I would say clean, right? That clean .eth name that they really want to go by, they really want to fall in love with, and they really want to be able to showcase to everybody who they're transacting with. So I think it's just a step in the right direction, and I think we just kind of got to keep that in mind. Any adoption is good, and I think that this just is a different route, but it is adoption. So I look forward to the conversation today. Thanks again, Kev, for staying consistent hosting. I look forward to seeing what other perspectives are out there. Thank you.
Thank you, boss. Thank you for your thoughtful feedback. Very much appreciated, man. Let's go over to the lovely 3402. How you doing today?
GM, I'm doing good. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Beautiful new place, Kev. I saw that. A lot of great spaces this weekend. I noticed a couple 3-letter sales for 5 ETH also. And I do think that we'll see, even with the high registration, we might see a run like with the numbers, with those 3 letters. I was also really curious about seeing Coinbase remove the ETH. I think that, or .eth, I think that will have a big impact one way or the other. So I was concerned when I first saw it. I didn't really read too much into it. So I was just curious to see what you all had to say about that.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing here also is that, one, they're giving out domains, right? They're moving into this Web3 wallet phase, which is clearly shows that the early adopters into this whole Web3 wallet domain, which I like. What's interesting is that you'll be able to import your native ENS domain, so that's pretty good. I guess for us right now, it's all speculation, right? We just have to wait and see what this is going to do, how this is going to affect the overall community, and how this is going to affect Coinbase themselves. They have been proven, to make wrong moves and wrong decisions, and they have been proven to make smart moves and smart decisions, because you don't get there to be that big of a company by chance or by luck. Somebody there knows what they're doing, and there's pretty sure there's other people there who probably have no idea what they're doing. But time will tell. Let's see how it plays out. Like NFTverse said, it only helps adoption to this whole Web3 crypto wallet, the reality that we're trying to go into. But I also just added Mafico to the stage. Good morning, man. How you doing today, bro?
Hey guys, yeah, doing well. interesting news is with Coinbase. I thought I would add some comments around. I spent the weekend thinking critically about some of my own assumptions about Web3 NFTs and some of generally, I think people in the space, some of our assumptions that we hold around this being, the future and the future of technology and digital assets being, and ownership being a critical part of the future. And I think after that time I spent thinking through that, this Coinbase announcement to me signifies how far away we are actually from mainstream adoption. I think it's easy for all of us in this space because we live and breathe it. And once you get over that hurdle in terms of understanding how to use MetaMask and all that kind of stuff, right? Once you get over that hurdle, it just is a no-brainer. It makes sense. But for the majority of the world, like it is such a crazy idea. And so to me, I think it's positive that Coinbase has thought thoughtfully around this, and they've gone, actually we did some research, and we concluded that it's actually better for us as a stepping stone to start with this .id thing, and then we'll build out towards .eth. I think that's a positive thing in terms of adoption. What I think though that signifies to us in ENS is that like we need to do a better job of educating. The DAO ENS as a system needs to do a better job in terms of really
Is
educating
Mafico
people.
rugging, or is it just me?
I think it's just you.
I can hear him good.
Sorry, bro. Yeah, I'm glad you guys can hear me. I was just saying we need to do a better job around that education piece. So I think we all know, right, that ENS is compatible across multiple chains, but I don't think that's promoted enough. I think we need to do a better job of promoting that. I think overall ENS.eth will become the chain to be on. Certainly all of the cultural capital that we engage with on a day-to-day basis in terms of NFTs, that is on Ethereum, and I don't see that changing in the future. I think there'll be other chains. We talked a little bit about layer 2s and stuff. I think cheaper NFTs, mass market NFTs will shift towards those chains, but premium assets will be on Ethereum. I think the .eth, as Master is saying, that's going to carry weight. That's going to be a really important signifier in terms of who you are, what your standing is, and the significance of your identity. That being said, Coinbase has highlighted a really important thing that we need to focus on, which is we need to make sure people understand that it's not just Ethereum that you can use the .eth name. You can use it across chains. Whether that is, we need to now focus on infographics and different things. That should be a primary focus. I think honestly it should be a wake up call to all of us that yes, the ENS is the future, but the stepping stones for us to get there are multiple stepping stones, and it's really we got to start from the ground basis. Even speaking to your friends, your family members, and just getting a sense of where they're at conceptually around Web3 and ENS, I think will give us hints in terms of what are the communication things we need to do to make sure that yes, that future we're thinking about, web adoption, that happens. But yeah, we got to just take a step back, think thoughtfully about it, and really focus on that education, I think.
Yeah, something else I was thinking about too is that when and Gary, jump in at any point because I know you probably know more than me about this, but a lot of the adoption with the ENS domains, when we look at it, those of us who have been here understand that it's a built-in ecosystem, right? It's a fully functioning, proven protocol and ecosystem, right? So companies who would want to, you know, um, move over to sign in with Ethereum and utilize the ENS domains, um, it's something that they don't have to maintain, right? I mean, it's at a very small level where they have to maintain certain things internally, but for the most part, the development of it and the continual advancement of it is maintained by the builders and within the DAO, the developers within the DAO. It's almost it's an easy decision. I mean, for me, when I look from the outside looking in, for any company to adopt that particular framework and protocol, because it makes sense. It's just money that honestly you don't have to worry about maintaining a team internally, or if you do, it's a very small team, to kind of just keep up with the functionality and some of the new releases and things like that that may come about in the future. But as far as building, man, it's already there. So it's just about adopting it. So that's one of the things that I look at when I think about these companies out there who are kind of on the outside looking in and wondering if they should, take part of this Web3 journey. It makes sense to me that why wouldn't you? It's already built and it's continuing to be building, and you don't really have to pay anything out of your pocket to maintain it. It's already maintained by a community. It's already being marketed by a community. You don't need any marketing, honestly. So to me, it's a money saver. It's a cost effective way to go into Web3. But that's just my perspective. I don't know if anybody thinks different about that. I'll pass it over to Christy, yeah, Christyl.
Hi, yeah, Christyl. So, yeah, thanks for having this room. I'm grateful to be able to be brought up on stage. So, thank you for that. I wanted to just kind of chime in and mention that I have a lot of feels about this. Okay, I've been in this space now for the last 2 years. Came in as I guess you could say I'm an OG, just because of the timing when I came in 2019, and I've been doing ENS for since that time period. With this information on Coinbase wanting to attach itself to ENS, I just wanted to say, I mean, personally, I hate it. I think it's a horrible idea. and the reason that I feel that is because it is an ecosystem, like you were saying. It is a community driven, situation here. And with that, people can get voted out. The whole thing could get taken over very quickly with Coinbase. Coinbase is 1000% in bed with the IRS. So unless you guys are all ready to start paying taxes on those airdrops, that's maybe not the best idea. That's just my personal opinion. It is a big deal, but I mean, stay to the source, stay to what's worked, stay to the community that's tight knit, empower each other, lift each other up, celebrate each other, and keep it tight knit, because it has been working. Once it starts getting diluted with these other outside third parties, it's going to be a whole different game. And I don't think people will be winning as much as they can be. So I just wanted to say that, because I've been watching diligently over time, and that voting power, people can get voted right out, even the people who have been invested in it for a really long time. So I personally am not interested in getting voted out of my own investments. So that's where I sit with it. And I mean, I'd love to hear, I'm sure there's lots of thoughts about what I'm saying. And I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but personally, that's my view and vision on it. I'm just not interested in having the IRS in control of what I'm doing in the blockchain. And that is definitely something they are all trying to wrangle from every angle. I mean, they're in it, they're going to get there. It's going to happen. But, you got to make what you can while you can, and be diligent and aware and help each other out in this space. And that was what this space was originally, the grassroots, ground level foundation of Web3. Everybody said, here's my hand, take it. I got you. Let's raise up together. I got you. And that's the way it needs to still keep going. And if we can all do that with each other continually, everyone will still keep raising up, and that wheel of momentum will keep rolling. And the moment that we let go of each other's hands and start giving it over to these bigger corporations and companies and everything, it's just going to dilute. So That's just my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right though, and it doesn't mean I'm wrong, but I just thought I would share that because it's viable to just educate yourself like that other person was just saying. It's you know, ask questions, reach out to people. How can I help you? What can you tell me? And only deal, of course, as we all know, with people that you trust. So thank you for letting me speak, and I'd love to hear any feedback on that. Thank you.
No, I think that was. I mean, that's the whole point. We want to hear, everybody's perspective, right? We want to be. This is an open forum, like Kev always says. This is an open forum, and it's important to get that feedback and understand kind of what everybody's thinking, right? So it's important to do that. One thing that I'll say about, and comment about what you said, is that God, man, we've all. I don't know if anybody else in here has experienced it, but sometimes large companies make bad decisions, right? We've seen that, right? I've worked for a few. I've seen it happen, in articles, and seen kind of the backlash of that. I've seen a company purchase change their whole entire system of record that they were utilizing before to go to a cheaper version, and they wound up losing half of all their clients because their clients could not. Um, uh, the data wasn't mapping over properly to the cheaper system that they used, that they changed over to. There was a lot of manual workarounds that had to be put in place in order to make that system run. That wound up costing the company more money, spending trying to fix those things and create workarounds than they did if they would have just kept the old system that was a little bit more expensive. They would have been able to keep all the clients and then actually be able to make the upgrades that was needed. But I say that to say that Coinbase, sometimes we see companies make decisions, and it we have to let time play out, right? Because I truly feel that that they'll come back to what is native, and that's .eth. Not to say that the importing of the DNSs and the .coms and things like that is not going to work, because it's already proven that it works. The community has went out there and tested it, right? So it's a working function. But there's something to say about branding in Web3, that looks appealing, and has to have a certain grasp for that end user and that end consumer. That plays a huge part in what we call that adoption and that paradigm shift, right? If things look like the old, but they're in a new place, people tend to not view that as being truly new. It's just like you're moving something old in, but you're trying to make it operate on a new infrastructure. But although technology may permit that, at the same time there's a branding piece behind it that people also gravitate to. And I think that that's what .eth does, that's what ENS does, is that's that gravitational piece that people see, and they fall in love with being able to say, I control my identity, I control my Web3 website, I control all of this. I don't have to have that interruption or that middle person controlling and overcharging me, and doing all of these different things. So I believe that the the good things will rise to the top, Christyl, if that makes sense, right? I just think that time has to play that part in that, and the cycle has to play its part in order for us to see these things come to fruition. I just to kind of touch on that.
Yeah, I can agree with that, and also back that up by saying that the time is now. The time we are here, the future is now. It's like we don't want to really wait until it comes back around and gets whitewashed. Like, it just needs to just stay where it's working. It's what you're saying is basically it's a sellout, like any company that brands, like it's like it's like please, don't let me offend anybody, but it's like a millennial wearing a Led Zeppelin t-shirt saying I was there. It doesn't work. They weren't there. They didn't do it. They went out to a third-party vendor, went to Hot Topic and bought the t-shirt. So just why wouldn't we stay where it's concentrated, where the most energetic force lives, and keep growing there versus blazing it out and, diluting it. That's my hypothesis on it. I mean, everyone's going to do whatever they feel is right for them, and that's okay too. So I'm just speaking just because I've been in this for a while, and I'd like to see people succeed. So that's it.
Yeah, definitely. ENSpunks, what's up, bro?
Yo, GM, everybody. Kev, congrats on the new place. Ron, Master, GM, hello. The rest of the speakers, NFTverse, thank you for the welcome. Yeah, man, so since last night, I've been hearing different ideas and opinions on it. I'm still kind of shaping my own. I don't look at anything black and white. It's sort of like there's pros and cons, right? So I think the pro is... hey, at least they're using ENS and not, unstoppable domains. That's a check mark, a plus for us. Personally, I thought maybe initially I'd rather see them use, the native.eth, Coinbase.eth for their customer subdomains. But the reality is, like, mafico.eth said, like, look, Coinbase is a big company, right? They did research. They had their focus groups, and the outcome, believe it or not, was, in my mind, it's positive because it shows the great opportunity we all have in front of us. That is, the outcome of their research and their focus groups was this. When they used .eth, there was confusion with these focus groups that the people thought, well, that means your product is only compatible with Ethereum. And obviously, all of us know that's a joke. That's go to the ens.domains and look at your records. You could put your Bitcoin address right in there, and guess what? You can send Bitcoin to ENSpunks.eth. And so, well, what is the opportunity then? Well, the opportunity is to onboard and educate. So, it's the pro and con. You could look at it like, well, hey, if that was the outcome of their research, Coinbase had a giant opportunity. They could have used the .eth and they could have onboarded and educated, but they decided not to. So guess what? That's an opportunity for us, an opportunity for Kev, an opportunity for the NFTverse, opportunity for 3402 to keep doing what they do. They're out here holding it down, onboarding people one by one. They're doing God's work out here, and they're going to continue doing it. And, eventually what's going to happen is, people are going to realize this isn't just organic growth. This is hard work being put in by the community, and that's going to ultimately get rewarded. So, again, I think, like, well, they could have helped onboard people and educate them according to their own research. That's what's needed. Well, hey, they did some free research for us, and we're going to keep doing what we've been doing, and we're going to be the solution to that. So I look at it really like, it's all positives all the way around. Because it's not going to change anything we're doing. We're just going to keep doing the damn thing, and we're going to be that shining light. So, it's in my mind, it's all good. The reality also is a little bit of like the rollout and the implementation, right? I am not here for centralized services, so maybe this goes to what Christyl's saying. I am here for the underlying P2P. The technology, that what bothers me more than anything is talking to somebody on the street about the metaverse, and what they think it is this cartoon world being built by Mark Zuckerberg. No, the metaverse is about ownership. It is about control. It is about you owning your identity and your handles and being able to take them from one service to the next. and not getting rugged on Twitter, not getting your accounts taken from you, not getting your domains taken from you. And that's what the metaverse is. It's ownership and control. So I'd like to see, well, when this gets rolled out, are these people really going to own their cb.id accounts? Are they going to be able to sell them on OpenSea or any decentralized marketplace or platform? I've got an idea. I'm not going to predict it. Maybe I'll put it on chain, and then when it rolls out, I can show you my prediction down the line. But I think, we all should think steps ahead. And that should be where we're thinking is, are they going to do it decentralized? Are they going to give ownership and control to the customer or not? And if not, guess what? That's just one more opportunity for us to do it right. I'm all about by the community for the community. So from building the community to onboarding to educating to building the ultimate product and solution, every time there's a misstep by big companies, big tech, good. I mean, again, it's better that they're supporting us and actually using it than not, for sure. But it's also good that they're not taking our job from us. I mean, look, they've got all the funding in the world. They're a publicly traded company. And so sort of like the NFT versus saying, we are built-in marketing. There are built-in devs. So this gets to that idea even Gary was talking about, right? That the name wrapper comes out. Well, guess what? You don't need to wait. I'm not waiting. I've built, well, I shouldn't take credit. I should give credit where credit's due. Wizards have built subdomain smart contracts for a project we're working on. They're currently being tested, and they are going to be NFTs. So you'll be able to get a subdomain that is an NFT. And I would not be the first project to do this. They're like NFT versus brought in Tweak Labs. I connected Kev with the developer PCC. Those are projects that have ENS subdomains built in. Some of them are soul bound. I mean, it's amazing what is already out there. And the subdomain smart contracts that are built and being tested for my project are in fact built off of their smart contracts. That is that PCC, that the Tweak Labs contract. They are open source, so they're available to all of us. And so that is true decentralization. That is ownership. That is control. And different projects are going to roll them out differently. So, we'll still kind of watch Coinbase. They're giant. Like Gary said, they are a major delegate of the ENS DAO, major voting influence and power, whether they use it or not. Again, Gary said it himself. So, we want them involved. We want them here. But, look, again, it's good that they don't execute it perfectly because, again, that's just opportunity for us to build stuff by the community for the community and execute it better. And that's not a knock on them. Like NFT versus saying big companies have certain restraints that we don't as a community. We've got that flexibility. It's sort of like why startups outdo big companies all the time, is because they can pivot, they can react to the market. They're not a big machine, a bureaucracy, and they've got that freedom and flexibility. So I think ultimately, it could have been done better, but nevertheless, it's good. It's good it wasn't done perfectly because it's just more opportunity for us. I don't like the whole, the quotation about costing hundreds or thousands of dollars. Flossin left already, but look at our queen right here, 3402. She's rocking a subdomain. My guess would be it was under $2, not hundreds, not thousands. So that's a little problematic for me. But besides that, I think everything is up and up, looking very positive for us as a whole, as an ENS community.
Yeah, ENS Punks. I think that what it does is that it just opens up a broader conversation, right? There's gonna be people out there, like you said, that the name wrapper opens up a whole nother opportunity that that the Coinbase ID can't do, right? I mean, it's the truth behind it. There's a certain level of utility that rapper is going to provide you know, it's just going to open up another door and open up more conversations that will happen with .eth. If you're having a conversation with somebody with a Coinbase ID and you tell them to send it to, you know, hey, send this particular payment to ENSpunks.eth, and they ask you, well, why don't you have a Coinbase ID? Then that's where the conversation kind of opens up and it gets a little bit broader and say, hey, you know what? You actually can have your own ENS domain and ENS ID, where you can transact, you can build your website, you can have a name wrapper, whatever you want to do, make them for your family or whatever, right? So that's where that conversation opens up a little bit more, and I'm glad that they are active in what Coinbase is doing, because it allows us to be able to educate a little bit more deeper. Yeah, so Kev had to step away. I'm pretty sure he'll be coming back in a few minutes. I don't know if Ron and Master had got his message, but we'll go to Web3 intern.
Hey everybody, GM. Yeah, I had to step down real quick because I promised I let Christyl speak. Christyl, I was actually able to bring on board to this space because, like I said, like she said, she's been in it for a while. Wanted to be able to, just express my thoughts a little bit. Also, I know you guys see me on the cover of Time. I thought that was pretty cool. That was actually because of the NFT NYC. I saw the picture of this one dude with the astronaut head, and I was like, that's pretty cool. So I took a picture of that, and then Time, I guess Time just knows that that's a dope pic. So it's nice to be here. Anyway, let me get straight to it actually, because Coinbase gave us an opportunity, just like what ENSpunks really said. Like they didn't get it totally right, and I mean we already saw that with no shade to anybody that's using the NFT gallery, but we already saw that they kind of have messed things up with that as well. What I think is going to happen is that people are going to be using the IDs, and then they're also going to be seeing what's on everybody else's profile. And then when they realize that .eth was there first, that's when it's actually going to click for people. And when they realize that that's the decentralized name that everybody's kind of been using, that the OGs have, that the people that were in the space first were using, that's when they're going to flip and say, hey, I should probably use this .eth instead of using this .id. I mean, what am I going to really build on? Am I going to build on web3intern.cb.id, or am I going to be able to just do web3intern.eth? I'm going to build on the .eth. And to be honest, I don't think you can really build upon the cb.id. I mean, I may be wrong, but honestly, I think that is once everybody really does their research, I think that's when it's actually going to, lead to the mass adoption. So I'm glad that they're building on the ENS just in general, but they missed an opportunity right there. It really did. But anyways, those are just my thoughts.
Yeah, thanks Web3. Yeah, I think Dr.
Who is Doctor?
You're rugging a little bit.
F, I think you were next.
Yeah, you're rugging a little bit, NFTverse. Yeah, I think Dr. F's next.
I'm euter.eth. Sorry, I'm not a doctor right now, but thank you so much. This is a clean 5-digit letter name from Germany, yeah. But don't think that this is something shitty. This is only European terrain. So yeah, thank you so much. I am only jumping here between my two customers, and I only wanted to say thank you again to everyone in here. I love this family more than my own family sometimes. Yeah, it's really hard to say, but it's like that. So you're not making me to the drag queen of my brain. Here I have my personal revolution. You are my perpetuum mobile. Really, everyone in here. I love you all so much. We have so much diversify in here, yeah? And only a shout out to our lovely queen, 3402, who is standing here every time alone with all these men in here, I can only say you are really a big banger to come here every time alone, because I know all the other girls, they are not that hard like you. So thank you so much to you. Really, you are really nice. I see you every time in these spaces here, like alone as a queen. But I can say you, sometimes I'm a queen too. So like Michael Jackson said, you are never alone. Yeah.
I appreciate that, Dr. F.
Yeah, Dr. F, thanks for dropping. I think iHodl is next. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ron. And I don't know if he's here or not, but thanks to Kev for holding this space every day. I'm not always able to attend, but when I can, I do. It's a great avenue for us plebs to get in touch with some of the real OGs in the space. And with that being said, I'd like to direct this question towards maybe Master or Gary. I know they've been around for years. They're true OGs. They're not just, fly-by-night guys who have only been in the space for a couple months. My question to you, gentlemen, is with the price of Ethereum increasing, how do you guys see the floors for respective clubs playing out? There's already people that are complaining that, oh, 4 digits should be at 5 ETH, they should be at 10 ETH. And I think a lot of people are not taking into account Ethereum's appreciation over time. And so my question is, how do you guys see the floors playing out in respect to Ethereum's appreciation?
It's sort of like, not financial advice, not a lawyer, not an accountant, not an astronaut. Just want to put all those disclaimers out there. Let me think. So when the bull markets happen, typically sales decrease as people are trying to figure out the new price realities of new adjustments. And it's just an interesting dynamic. It's really hard to comment on the market without sounding like you're giving financial advice and stuff. So the only thing I'll really share with you in terms of how I think about things at a high level myself, being in this since day one, I sort of have a shilling point in my brain for the next bull market for Ethereum, and I think it's pretty common, the shilling point the whole world has to agree on, and I think we pretty much agree $10,000 is that number. And so if you're thinking one Ethereum, I'm thinking one Ethereum equals $10,000, and so that's changing how I'm thinking about the floor later. So 100 something that's 10 Ethereum is $100,000, and and something that's 100 Ethereum is $1 million. And if the floor for the 999 club goes from 25 Ethereum that it is now to 100 Ethereum, that's $1 million. Yet that's only a 4x increase, right? That's like a 100x increase in price, but a 4x increase in ether value. And it's just it's weird. People have to think about. That's why everyone's been fooled with money, because you guys think a dollar, you guys, our society thinks $1 equals $1, but it's not true, because the price of everything goes up, and it's just a new way that we have to think about things. So I would just pretend one Ethereum equals $10,000 if that is your thesis that you share as well.
Well, you know that I'm driving a car and I'm next to a car accident, Gary. It's man, I'm so nervous.
Well, thanks for your thoughts, Gary. I just I feel that this our niche here is so new that I think people are just it's gonna be interesting to see whether people are playing for dollar bills or they're playing to increase their Ethereum stack. And I think that this space is so filled with newcomers, people who are buying their first NFTs as ENS, people who haven't been here in the like for instance, earlier the woman was speaking, she said she had been in ENS for over a year but doesn't own her first name .eth. So I think that's just an affirmation that the space is so new. I feel like people are going to be so confused. They're not going to know what to do, how to price. There's going to be undercutting. I think it's just going to be very chaotic and also at the same
There's
time a learning experience for all of us.
Yeah, definitely a huge learning curve for everyone, as is all the things in crypto. And that's why I'm sort of like someone that doesn't like, saying wag me. I don't believe, like wag me is fun, but I don't really believe in wag me. I think a lot of people are going to falter and fail, and I think a lot of people are going to get wrecked because they're over investing, or they sold too early, they sold too late. I mean, I personally have a foolproof strategy. My strategy, I think, is pretty much, if ENS works out, then it's guaranteed to work as long as ENS works out. But my strategy is just to buy names and then to not sell them for 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, right? It's the same thing with like crypto. I buy crypto, I hold crypto, I don't sell crypto. If you just don't sell crypto, you win. Like anyone that loses, they're just people that didn't dollar cost average and sold. If you just buy and hold, 5 or 10 or 15 years, and that's the problem. No one wants to do time delayed gratification. That's why, the hex thing, like, crushed people. It's like time delayed gratification. That's why Bitcoin crushed people. That's why Ethereum crushed people. Time delayed gratification is how people win in life. And so buy good names and don't think you're going to sell it for $1 million in 1 year or 2 years. It's like I've been holding grails for like 5 years. I'm not selling them for 10 Ethereum right now. It's like I'll sell them for 100 Ethereum in 5 years when we're at $10,000 a coin, maybe, you know what I mean? It's just like, or maybe 1,000. It's like, you guys got to have an income coming in. Like if you're day trading, then, I mean, don't talk to me because I'm not day trading. I'm not good at day trading. I'm just like, have a job, make money, sort of live below your means, take your extra cash, like have a good life, but take your extra cash, even if it's $5 a week, dollar cost average, $5 in a Bitcoin, $5 in Ethereum. If you could do 100, that's great, whatever. If you can get a bomb, like Orlando real estate, Orlando healthcare, Orlando auto mechanic, Orlando auto, Orlando cars, replace the word Orlando with any geo area, hold that for 20 years, you're probably going to sell it for 100 grand. It's like, or maybe not. It's hard to say. Like, no financial advice. I don't really know. I just like looked at the past results of .com, applying them to ENS, where I know there's more use cases. But yeah, people got to buy and hold. Or I mean, look at these sales. We see in ENS sales. They're like cheap, like $1,000, like $1 million domain being sold for $1,000. That's like I can't believe it.
Yeah, and
And look,
I was thinking the same thing because we're seeing a pump with ETH right now, almost to 1,500. So I was wondering if people were going to start to delist, change their prices, and all of that's shown on the blockchain.
Yeah, it all happens. And first off, Gary's right. But even if you're not as hardcore to Gary, if you just do it, if you can't wait 10 years like Gary can, but if you can wait 2 or 3 years, the same, you're not going to be as successful, but those same principles apply. Master, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to point it out that when 999 Club was just founded like 3 months ago, Ethereum's price was 3,000. So don't talk about anything like Ethereum is up to 1,500, right? We were down from 3 to 4,000 to here. So yeah, if you are long run man, just don't list it. Not listing is better than any price listing at this point of time. At least you show. Otherwise, you're showing others what is your expectation. And once you show, at least even once, you let the people know you are going to sell this name by, for example, 20 ETH. Yeah, he will check the record and he will find it, right? And when you are going to say something like 200 in the future, and that will make a bad comparison for them in the from their mind. So yeah, not listing is the best strategy. And if you are chasing the liquidity too much, then I don't think domain is just your business for real, because we really need patience. Right now, you have two options to sell your names. First is to sell to the floor. Second is to sell to the true lover. I always mention that out. But all those flaws, all those collections with a flaw, that is high, with high speculation inside. People come in just to make a flip on that, and they come in because they want to get out. They don't have the long run vision, and they keep checking the F5, pressing F5 on ENS.vision to check these flaws. And I mean, domain isn't meant for these guys. These are the normal, speculation project. Like you, if you are doing this to some NFT or art or some of the JPEGs, maybe that makes sense. But for domain, we need to find a perfect buyer eventually, and that perfect buyer should be someone that this number or this name makes the 100% or 150% of the sense to this guy, and he cannot live without it. He realized the meaning, what the ENS means, 100%, and then he cannot live without this name, and he is a rich man, or he's a rich company, right? We must be patient enough so that we can wait until we finally meet someone like that show up. That is the eventual, that it is the only decent out of domain. Don't just try to sell to the floor. And if everyone think about that, everyone's planning or aiming to sell to the floor that way, then there will be no floor. Everyone is just a speculation and just selling that way. So first thing, do not list it easily because others can see it. It's all on the chain. You cannot erase it. And second, try to be more patient and be on this game. And we need more education to the market. I have a lot of good, names for the crypto exchanges. But I was very disappointed to their knowledges and their experience or their vision to Web3. I have a name, Gate.eth. Gate is actually for exchange. There was a crypto exchange named Gate, and one of my friends, he said he knows someone from the Gate. He maybe he can help to introduce and see whether or not he make us some introduction on the sale. I said fine, go ahead and talk with her. Okay, so the Gate exchange guy that in charge of marketing commercial asked the question, can we associate IP address on .eth? If cannot, I don't need it. This is bullshit. He says something like that. This is from someone working in crypto exchanges that is very close to blockchain. So you can imagine even the blockchain industry people say something like that. How about the normal people in the Web2 people that has nothing to do with the blockchain? Yeah, we are far early in the market at this point of time. We need more time to do the education, or we need more time to wait for them to catch up. So don't be too rushed. Don't listing and sell your domain too early. And that's all I'm going to share with you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am back, but most importantly, I am better. I am back and I'm better, right? This is the ENS Morning Show. We do the show every Monday to Friday from about 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk all things ENS, NFTs, Web3, you name it, we'll talk about it. It's a concern, we'll talk about it. Anxieties, frustrations, questions, whatever it is, we bring it up on this show. This is an open forum for all of the Web3 community because we are the largest community. Now, to piggyback based off of that real quick before I pass it to the speaker with their hand up, is my thesis. NFTverse taught me to say that word on the happy hour. You say words like thesis and things. You guys might think I'm a smart guy, but my thesis is 3 to 5 years, right? I think it just comes with adoption. Adoption is happening at a very rapid rate, a very fast rate behind the scenes, right? A lot of things we're not in these board meetings, we're not in these crypto meetings, in these meetings with these Fortune 500 companies. We're just here degenerating on Twitter on a day-to-day basis. But the reality of the situation is every corporate, look at what I pinned to the top about Time Magazine, right? Time Magazine, their new cover is into the metaverse. Every executive, every corporate 500, 100, they all know the metaverse. They all know Web3 exists. They're all trying to figure out a strategy, at least have teams designated to figure out strategies and ways to come into this world. Some are probably fading it. Some are probably, all in on it. So time will tell. My thesis, 3 to 5 years. Where's crypto? Where's the world of Web3? How is this going to look in the year 2025? How is this going to look in the year 2028? And that's how long I'm typically registering all my names for in 3 years. Digits, I get in and out of positions fairly easily. My word domains, 3 to 5 years is when I plan on selling those. But with that being said, we do have some speakers with their hands up. It's Baco, bro. The stage is yours.
Hey, what's up, Kev? How you doing, everyone? RN1 Master. NFTverse, you guys, and every speaker, even Gary too. I've been following you guys for a few months, and I'm pretty not, I would say, new to the NFT space. 6 months ago, since January. Since I came out across you guys opened up my mind. I'm a father. I have 2 daughters. And what you guys are always giving, a lot of gems. I actually didn't work today because I'm taking my daughter celebrating her birthday. But I took the time to come in, and I'm like, yo, let me get in because it's been a while, and what you guys are sharing, it's amazing. It's amazing. You guys are putting me to work right now because I'm actually going through every single NFT and ENS domain that I own, and I'm just working on it because I actually gonna be, adding a couple of more years, extending the years for them. And even though I've been here 6 months, and with you guys coming across to you guys 2 months, I believe 2 or 3 months, I'm here for the long run. I mean, you guys, what Coinbase is doing, and it's okay, it's okay to have that, what they building right now, and people will realize later on that there's another side of the coin that that's us, ENS. We own our name, we own our domains, nobody else, right? It's decentralized, and you guys, every freaking time I enjoy here, you guys open my mind even more and more. You just be open-minded and learn so much. What you guys have in here, here is huge. Keep doing what you're doing, Kev, guys, because people like me need it. We don't pay for it. What I'm paying is my time. I'm giving my time to you guys, and that's a lot. We cannot get back time to us, but it's worth it, man. I'm just letting you know, guys. It's worth it. It's freaking worth it. Keep working hard, man. You guys have a huge platform right now, that a lot of people probably don't know, and they will know, about you guys, and you guys are the OGs. And I always said it to you, Kev, even in the DMs I sent you a few weeks ago. You guys are the pillars, their foundation, and I'm so happy and I'm so grateful to be here, being part of that foundation that I can teach new people. Even my daughter came to me and like, what are you doing there? I'm like, Ma, I'm working on something that is gonna benefit us later on, not now, but later on. So we don't have to depend on someone else, and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. I thought that buying NFTs and being on the long term was gonna be worth it. Buying an NFT, I'm not talking about ENS. Buying an NFT and going to a project right now is a degen blade moment right now, and all about is making money, right? Not long term. This right here, it's the long term. I realized that this is the long term. I mean, that ETH, if I wasn't in the .com era, Web2 era, where I can own the domain, this is my time. This is the time for me to start building a foundation for my kids, so they can be free out of these big corporations, and not give a fuck. I'm sorry for the words, but this is the reason why I'm here, and thank you, Kev, again. And I always gonna say it to you guys. You guys are fucking amazing. You guys are the OGs. You guys have a huge freaking platform that nobody will take that away from you guys. And the community is strong. The people are always here on the spaces are strong. They know what they're doing, and there's a reason why I'm here. So, and there's a reason why you guys are here and sharing this, and again, we don't have to pay for it, but again, thank you so much. And you guys are always putting me to work. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the kind words, brother. Appreciate the grind, and take care of your baby girl. Happy birthday to her. And that's from the entire ENS community. But man, I want to say this is a community effort, right? It takes all these speakers on stage, all the listeners in the crowd, they are the ones that make this show special. Without them, without Ron and Master and NFTverse and Punks and Gary, all these guys coming up and women coming up every day and supporting and contributing to this, then where would this thing be? I don't know, right? But I appreciate the kind words. We are the largest community in all of Web3, and we'll keep going. The show goes on. The show fucking goes on. BrooklynGuy.eth, the stage is yours, brother.
Family, my ENS family, man, a whole bunch of futurists. Love hanging out with futurists. Thanks for having me. I was just really stuck on what Masters was saying about education and really just spreading the knowledge of what these things are capable of. That is going to be super monumental. I think we all know that, and I think everything that's possible to continue to push that is going to be like the focus even throughout this bear market, even when they mistaken the bear market for a bull market. Oh, ETH is at 1,500. You can't help but laugh. You can't help but laugh. So I love it. I love the conversations. And Friday, man, Monday through Friday, we're here like your favorite cartoon. So it's amazing, and I'm just glad that like, yo, I'm a part of it. I'm happy to be all you entrepreneurs. I really want to call you futurists, and I'll continue to call you all futurists because you might as well be. That's really all. That's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, everyone here is a futurist, and we have to have some glimpse of what we want. I think we're creating the future as well. While we're at it, I think we're all creating the future collectively together. We're manifesting a future that we want to see. We want to see a Web3 ecosystem, and that's what we're creating as a unit. But we'll end this one with our weather report from Flossin. Flossin, you promised us 500 ETH. That now we're $1,000 in the opposite direction at 1,500, bro. So by the way, ladies and gentlemen, before he gives this weather report, I just want to let you know this is not financial advice. The guy told us we're going to 500. We end up going to 1,500. So if you shorted anything, you didn't listen to here first. But Flossin, please update us on what's going on in the market, and we'll call it a day after that.
Now, Kev, let's be transparent. I said my low-end price target is around that 500 mark, but I also have been given key indicators of levels to watch. We have surpassed that level of the 1440. I did DM a few of my people, gave them the notice that the Webull that I use for the momentum tracker called the Super Trend did give me a bullish indicator, so I might have went long. So yeah, so I will preach what Gary always preaches, the DCA, mentality. I did have cash set aside. I had my levels. I didn't get a full position on, but yeah, I got enough to, I'm happy now. So, but yeah, no, I still think we have a long ways to go. By the way, I don't think we're out of the woods yet. You can see a nice little bounce. Just a little information, like I saw Redfin announce today, in the first time in 3 years, there's actually a supply hike in housing. So we all know what that means. So let's just get ready, but let's keep making moves, right? But with that being said, let's be positive here. I'm looking at some call and put premium in the traditional markets. It's the first time in many weeks I've seen call premium outdo put premium. I'll just kind of keep it simple with that. And like I said, let's go over to the ETH, the crypto. What's that looking like? ETH is up 12.5% today. We're across that 1,500 level. Let's see what we do. Let's see how we finish out. Let's see what the traditional equity markets close at today. That'll give me a nice little indication of what we can maybe see for the rest of the week. Looking over to some of the clubs that we love talking about, the 999 Club is holding strong at a right under 25 ETH floor. The 10K Club is holding The floor has come down. We're sub 1.2 right now. And then also the 999 Arabic Club is looking pretty good at a 2.15 ETH floor. And then also we've had a couple sells with the 999 Club, so we're at a 24-hour trading volume of 44 ETH. The 10K Club is a 24-hour trading volume of 42.5 ETH. And the 999 Arabic Club is sitting at a 14 24-hour trading volume. And to end it on the show, Kev, a couple interesting things I've seen so far in the day. We had Malaysia sell. I saw y'all probably saw me pin that at the top, sold for 10 WETH. We also had Khaled sell for 10 WETH. And then just a few minutes ago, we had a couple single emojis sell. One sold for 3.45 WETH. It's the panda. And then we also had the astronaut registered for 3 ETH. So I've been calling emojis. We've seen some nice little movement with the emoji stuff. I don't know if NFTverse has announced it as well. Me and him are hosting a space this evening going over some digits, emoji digits, and what we see value there. So we hope all y'all might want to tune in for that. So got some nice little topics to talk about. And that's all I have. And maybe kick it back to you, Kev, to go ahead and save my ass on the non-financial advice disclosure.
Yeah, definitely. Not NFA, not financial advice, but thank you, Flossin, for the much for the reports. We do appreciate that a lot on the show. I do tease him a bit, but yeah, he's been pretty accurate on his statements and sayings. I was hoping for sub 1,000 ETH again, man. I would have loaded up on some positions.
Hey, we did. We breached it just a little bit. It actually got to like 991.
Oh man, yeah. So we'll see how this thing plays out over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm kind of sitting on the sidelines right now. I'm not making any major moves. We'll see how it plays out. With that being said, y'all, thank you for tuning in to the ENS Morning Show, aka ENS Updates. Catch you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. And Kev is out.